More Barbadians taking the advice to insure their properties. Barbados elected to chair World Health Organization's Executive Board. A farmer breathes a sigh of relief after the sheep he believed were stolen are found. And in sports, USA pull off the World Cup upset over Pakistan.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. As Barbados faces a hurricane season predicted to be more active than usual, there are indications that homeowners appear to be heeding the call to have their properties insured. Information to that effect is coming from the General Insurance Association of Barbados. Trevor Thorpe has been following the developments.
Figures from across the insurance industry and the Financial Services Commission suggest more Barbadians are embracing the message to insure their properties. That revelation from the president of the General Insurance Association of Barbados, Randy Graham. He says it's an encouraging sign since government has already signaled it cannot foot the rebuilding costs for individuals as it did previously.
What we have seen, if you look at the last statistics from the Financial Services Commission, I think about 60,000 policies has been issued on property across the country. Now, if you go to the Statistical Services 2020 census, at least what is published, we see they say about 73,000, 74,000 private homes are in Barbados. If you add the commercial properties to that we have in Barbados, our rough estimate is it could be anywhere between 110 and 120,000 properties in Barbados. So in any event, although we are increasing and people are taking more responsibility to get insurance on their property to cover against the hurricane, we're still at about 50%, I would say, of the properties in Barbados that carry insurance.
The association president has some advice for property owners who may not be certain about the value of their property and possible replacement costs.
You know, if you're not certain what the value of your house is or what it will cost to rebuild today, and we're not in a position to get an official valuation, what you can do is take the square footage of your house and multiply that by what the average building cost is today. That building cost can vary now between $250 and $500. But if, say, your house was 1,000 square foot and you take a $300 per square foot rebuilding cost, we're talking about you will need $300,000 to rebuild your house today.
Mr. Britton is also cautioning people against thinking that Barbados will always be spared. He says recent history is proving otherwise, and it will only take one hurricane to devastate the island.
So we just want to encourage Barbadians, whatever your choices for your financial and other preparation for the hurricane season, make it a formal choice among your home to protect yourself for the hurricane season, and take the period between June 1st and November 30th serious, that we can have natural catastrophes, and do not take it lightly. And I think that would what we would want for our country, for persons to take the hurricane season seriously.
The 2024 hurricane season started on June 1st and will end on November 30th. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
Barbados has been elected to chair one of the highest governing bodies in the World Health Organization, the WHO's Executive Board. It gives effect to the decisions coming out of the World Health Assembly and also advises on the agenda and priorities for the annual Health Assembly. The 155th session of the Executive Board was chaired by Ambassador and Permanent Representative of Barbados to the United Nations, the World Trade Organization and other organizations in Geneva, Matthew Wilson. Upcoming WHO Executive Board sessions will be chaired by Minister of Health and Wellness, Senator Dr. the Most Honorable Jerome Walcott. Ambassador Wilson notes for Barbados to be chosen to serve as chair indicates the high regard the member countries have for the island.
We, the Executive Board, have such a privileged responsibility. We are discussing matters of global importance. We are representing the global population of 1.8 billion people. But we're also representing individuals. Remember that when you feel you can't move a bit closer to consensus building. Remember, we're working for the people behind the policies and the processes. We must humble ourselves at times. As my Prime Minister, Mia Mottley, intimates, act with global moral responsibility.
WHO Executive Director Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus welcomed Barbados' leadership and chairmanship of the board.
My congratulations to Ambassador Wilson on your election as chair. And I look forward to working with you over the next year. And my deep thanks to my sister, Dr. Hanan Al-Kuwari, for her leadership over the past year. Thank you so much. Shukran jazilan. I welcome the 12 new members of the executive board, and I look forward to working with you and with all the board members over the course of the next year. I thank the board for its work in preparing for and executing a very successful and historic World Health Assembly.
Police investigations continue tonight into two separate shooting incidents that claimed the lives of two men last night. The first was reported to police around 9:50 p.m. According to lawmen, a person called the operations center to report that there was a shooting incident at 4th Avenue, Harts Gap, St. Michael. This surveillance video obtained by CBC shows two men exiting a vehicle and approaching the victim before shots were heard. Police personnel responded and, on arrival, encountered the motionless body of 32-year-old Chad Rowett. The Prout St. Thomas resident was pronounced dead at the scene by a medical doctor. Police were notified about another shooting just before 10 p.m. An anonymous caller reported multiple gunshots at Boyce Road, Freehill, Black Rock. Police investigations revealed that one man was injured and taken to hospital, where he was later pronounced dead while receiving treatment. The deceased has been identified as 30-year-old Raheem Brathwaite of Melvins Avenue, Black Rock, St. Michael. Now, lawmen are appealing to anyone with knowledge or who may have witnessed either of the two fatal shootings to contact any police station. Police have also given the assurance that all information will be taken in strictest confidence. A farmer is breathing a sigh of relief tonight after more than a dozen of his sheep believed stolen are found. Rachel Agard was on location and filed this report.
It was a true labor of love for Tyrone Sandyford, who refused to rest after all 18 of his sheep were reported missing and he was convinced they were stolen. The farmer explains that the animals are usually tied on the pasture near his home in Maynards and brought in at night. On Tuesday, however, he left them overnight on the pasture. It was the following morning that a friend raised the alarm, and when Mr. Sandyford checked, all the sheep were gone. He recalls his initial response.
It means somebody carry all the sheep. First thing that went through my head, because look, I sold two sheep on two from here on Monday, and up St. James I sold two. The guy was supposed to come back yesterday. If you see the big rams there, for two of them big rams. The man came because my partner brought him, and when he called me, tell me the sheep in the pasture, he said, "Why move the sheep?" You know, so I went to the police station like first thing I do.
The farmer had sheep stolen before, and believing this was another such case, he set about trying to find his livestock. He eventually found them staked out deep in the bushes, not far from where they were originally left. He is grateful to have his sheep back where they belong.
I called a partner of mine this morning that went to school with me near Gregory too, and he told me to get some things some thing I put in the ear. But I feel like I do what the old Westerners do: get two pieces of steel, put my initials on it, and brand them. That's the easiest way that they will see that the brand. That's the easiest way for me.
Mr. Sandyford says he is now going to ensure all the sheep are in good health before selling two of his rams. But there is one sheep that will never be sold. This one is his favorite, and he's keeping it close to his side. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Rachel, thank you. Well, the spend on the Oistins refurbishment is still attracting the attention of the Democratic Labour Party. Opposition leader Ralph Thorne is tonight questioning the bidding process.
April 5th. You send out an RFP, that is to say a bid, you're asking the public, bid for the Oystins job, and that job begins within a matter of days. Doesn't happen. Not with government. Everybody knows government is bureaucratic and things take time. But here we are, we became suspicious when within a matter of days, the Oystins work starts after a bid document goes into the media on April 4th or 5th. Something is wrong.
Mr. Thorne is also not happy with the work done for the money spent.
Casual observers are not satisfied that $5 million has been spent in Oystins. So there's nothing wrong with saying that. I think there's everything right with saying that we are happy for the people in the Bay Garden and Oystins.
Well, just Monday, Minister in the Prime Minister's office with responsibility for culture, Dr. Chantal Munro-Knight, pointed out that the money spent on the Oystins Bay Garden was done with the people in mind.
If anyone approaches you, whether they be thorns or roses, and they ask you why the government invested $5 million in refurbishing Oystins Bay Garden, tell them that the government did it because you deserve it. Tell them that the government did it because it is the vendors, the craftspeople, the people in the fish market, the everyday Barbadians who have made Barbados. We did it for you. We did it because you deserve it.
And the point was reiterated by Chairman of the Oystins Bay Garden, Kimar Harris.
The drainage issues that we were having at the back road, we don't have it anymore. I want you to walk through the space. Don't take my word. Walk through. What I will say is that money has been well spent in Oystins Bay Garden.
We'll take a break here. Coming up, Barbadians encouraged to visit the new Quilombo Emancipation Village. As Barbados continues to observe the season of emancipation, more people are being encouraged to visit and support the Quilombo Emancipation Village at Haggart Hall. It opened on May the 31st and will continue until the 17th of August with a range of events, including cultural presentations, sporting competitions, craft displays and food. The call has come from the site's manager, Kelvin Carvalho.
Thus far, I have no complaints, and from last night, the results of the road tennis last night, and that's just road tennis. Can you imagine on this Friday night, we're going to have road tennis, the dominoes, and on the main stage, the DJ and open mic. So in here is going to be a festival of activities happening right here in the village. And I'm also excited about the people who are visiting that will be passing through. Like I said earlier, it is my village, it is your village, it is our village. Let's do our part and participate in the Emancipation Village.
And Wayne Unkfrewells explains there are plans to get school children involved to show them the educational aspects of the village.
The component is broken up into 3 phases. One is creativity and resilience. The other is the majesty of Africa. And the third one is the pathways to emancipation. So we are inviting Barbadians. We have some wonderful exhibits. We'll be having lectures from time to time. On the 13th, we'll be having our first emancipation lecture by Dr. Rodney Worrell of the University of the West Indies. And he will be speaking about coffee's rebellion, uprising in the northern parts of the island. So can coffee dream be our dream? From every week or every other week, we'll be having emancipation lectures.
Educational institutions and non-profit organizations on island have been encouraged to apply for the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association Foundation's inaugural Owen Arthur Scholarship Fund. The scholarship fund, valued at $25,000 US, will be awarded annually in different destinations. Barbados will be the first recipient of the scholarship, which is in honor of the former Prime Minister. Chief Product Development Officer of the Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated, Marcia Aline, revealed on Morning Barbados that the applications can be found on the BTMI's corporate page. The deadline was recently extended until June the 24th.
All persons will have to do is to log on to www.visitbarbados.org, obviously go into our corporate page, and then they would actually see the scholarship up on the right-hand corner. Click on that, and there's the application form. For persons who would like to not apply directly online but want to actually print it and then, fill it out afterwards, that's fine as well. Or if you're not so technically inclined and you want to come to the office and actually get a hard copy of the application form, that is also available to you as well.
A local Anglican cleric says the church, once a leader in education, can still play a role in educating the masses. While acknowledging times have changed, the Reverend Canon Beverly Seeley Knight says there is a need for centers of change as both youths and adults need to be educated on many matters. She says the church must be willing to deploy agents in the field and, where possible, provide the space where learning can be accommodated. Canon Seeley Knight's comments came during the choral evensong to mark the 7th anniversary of the St. Michael Center for Faith and Action, held at the Cathedral Church of St. Michael and All Angels.
Is a suitable room on property or a space on a virtual platform. Education in an array or on an array of subjects that affect humanity is important. There are other ways in which information can be shared. But, as I said before, that's for another time. I will add, though, that there are so many developmental opportunities around.
Canon Seeley Knight reminded the church of the importance of social ministry and being an active participant in the society.
While social ministry is not evangelism, it can be evangelistic. By serving others, churches create opportunities to share the gospel. Intentionally including gospel sharing in the social ministry helps bridge the gap between physical and spiritual needs. And we must accept that there is a need for both. In many cases, persons need not only physical, but spiritual help.
The Business Report, brought to you with the compliments of Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
In business tonight, a new partnership is being forged between two local insurance agencies. According to corporate agent of Guardian Life of the Caribbean, Cami Holder, it is being forged on trust, integrity, commitment and service. Addressing the reaffirmation meeting at Courtyard by Marriott, Mr. Holder said the alliance is a benchmark for the industry.
With a strategic partnership founded on the 4 pillars of trust, integrity, commitment, and service, I am confident that COB FSIA, the insurance subsidiary of COB, a hybrid insurance agency, is fully prepared to meet the needs of its members, powered by Guardian Life Effective Solutions, as we promote the Live Easy ethos.
The corporate event told the meeting reaching the milestone for the two companies was not as easy, but it was driven by a vested interest in their clients.
This mutual alliance is testament to innovation, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of their lasting legacy, as the financial interests of our customers and their loved one continues to be our priority.
Venezuela was the latest stop for tourism officials as marketing of destination Barbados continues across Latin America. The Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated's Latin America team, while in Caracas, met with officials from the Venezuela airline Conviasa, which currently flies weekly between Bridgetown and Caracas. Meetings were also held with other airlines, significant partners, and media personnel. The trip ended with a Barbados-themed information and networking session for travel agents, where they were presented with an overview of our destination. Let's join Anne-Marie again for a second burst in sports.
And as promised, this is all football. Barbados' 2026 FIFA World Cup campaign got off to a nightmare start last night as the senior men's national team suffered a 4-1 defeat to Curacao at the Stadion Ignacio Hato. Rangelo Yanga completed a brilliant hat trick while Niall Reed-Stevens scored a consolation goal from the penalty spot in the 90th minute. Barbados will now turn their attention towards Haiti on Sunday here at the Wildy Turf. Well, West Terrace and St. Stephen's were a winner's circle today when the Baiko Primary School's football competition continued. Playing at Orange Hill, West Terrace were 11-0 winners over St. Matthews, while St. Stephen's thrashed St. Albans 5-0. CBC's Almar Goodrich Boyce reports.
West Terrace in blue already 1-0 up versus St. Matthews. Ball played forward to Alex Jones-Eiffel to smash home the half volley. That's 2-0. West Terrace on the attack again. Lovely turn, and the shot is too hot to handle for the keeper. Through the fingers and across the line. Varchet complete. 3-0 now. Zayden Haynes-Pierce on the score sheet. Long way back for St. Matthews. It went from bad to worse for St. Matthews. Throwing now, no one can clear the lines, and it drops gently to Milan Maynard for one of the easiest goals he'll ever score. 4-0, the score now. Maynard, who netted 6 goals, was definitely in the mood. This is a brilliant cross into the box, and guess who is on the end of it? Maynard on the money. Excellent header. St. Matthews down and out of the contest. Skip ahead to the second half now, where West Terrace continued their dominance. Here they have a penalty, easily converted by Maynard, as West Terrace went on to be 11-0 winners over St. Matthews. Second match now, St. Stephen's in red taking on St. Albans. A mix-up in communication at the back, and it drops to the Carrie Critchlow. What a strike, makes it 1-0. Look at the celebration, lovely to see. Move along to the second half, St. Stephen's with a corner, and this is a clear penalty for handball. The boys in red with a chance to double their lead. Darion Phillips then stepped up and slotted it home from the spot. That's 2-0. St. Stephen's went 3 up after they were awarded this penalty. Critchlow gets his brace. The score now 3-0. St. Stephen's then added 2 more for good measure to win by 5-0 over St. Albans. Anmar Goodrich Boyce, CBC Sports.
That's our time tonight. Thank you for spending it with us. I'm Pearson Bowen. For the crew, to all of you, good night. By God's will, we'll see you tomorrow.